champion here. This is your 17th time qualifying. It's indoors. What's the comfort level like coming in, and how nice would it be to finish off your season with a win here?
Of course it would be nice. I'm not the only guy who has that hope and that dream, so we'll see how it goes. But I think indoors is more of a nostalgic thing for me as well. It's where I had my first success on the tour. When I came onto the tour, this is where I made my first points, maybe in satellite level, challenger level and tour level. That's how I got up the ranking. It was through the indoors, and so I always feel comfortable regardless of which indoor court I go to. It feels like I come home in some ways, so it's the same thing here, and so far I felt great. Court plays nice, and I'm sure we'll see some great tennis.
Thanks, Roger. And finally, Novak Djokovic. Novak, you have a chance to tie Roger here for most titles at the ATP finals this week. You also are in the running for the year-end #1 still. At this point in your career, is it easy for you to kind of separate those things and focus on the task at hand?
Well, obviously that serves as a great motivation, and we all work very hard throughout the entire season. That is a very long season, obviously longest season of all sports. To try to consistently play well and qualify for the season finale. Obviously ranking situation is not only dependent on me, but I'm going to try to obviously perform as best as I can in every match. I historically played well in the indoor season, Bercy, and also here in O2 Arena. I think it's a fantastic stage to host the World Tour Finals. The attendance is great from the day one. The tournament has had so much success in the last decade that it has been here. So look forward to it.
Thanks so much. And now we will turn it over to all of you.
The ATP Cup. Could you explain to people what you said it was for family reasons, and yet you appear to be playing an exhibition in China 2 days after Christmas for 3 days. It appears to be slightly contradictory, that. Could you maybe explain a bit more about it?
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to, actually. So, when we had to sign up for the ATP Cup, it was shortly after Wimbledon, and for me it was always a logical decision just to always play the first week. And the South America Extra Tour was already long in its scheduling, something I wanted to do for a long time again. I couldn't because of my knee, I couldn't do it because of the birth of my children, I couldn't do it the year after, 2 years after, just because of it was going to be too much. So South America had a priority for me, to be quite honest, and the ATP Cup too, to play the first week. But then when I realized Stan was also not going to play, the family was not going to travel to Sydney, honestly I said I'd rather also be home with the family and take it easy, train some more, and make the priority the Australian Open and the World Tour Finals. And also having the dream match with Rafa in South Africa on February 7th, one that I've been trying to get a date from Rafa basically the last 2 or 3 years. It was always going to be a priority for me as well. Then something just had to give, and that was the ATP Cup, which I just felt like I was going to be very happy to play, but just wasn't at that level of importance for me. So that was that, and normally I don't take these kind of decisions like this, but I kind of got into that situation because I had to take a decision after Wimbledon, and actually it was also a little bit connected. I know you might think this is a joke, but it's not. By announcing the Olympics, the family was always going to travel to Japan, but with my wife we tried to really come up with a good schedule for the kiddies, and going to Sydney was just at the end one we just were not ready to do. We wanted them to be in one place for a longer time. That's why I don't think it's contradictory at all.
So will you fly home after China? Fly back to Europe?
Yeah, go back and forth.
And
not Europe, Dubai.
So to Dubai?
Yeah. That gives me 2 more weeks after Shanghai, or after Russia, sorry. Which is a lot. For 4 children.
Novak, the race for #1 to end the year as #1, you've done it many times in your career, Roger's done it as well many times. What does being #1 at the end of the year, what kind of achievement is that? And how important is it to you in general?
Well, look, I think it's probably, well, in my personal opinion, one of the two biggest achievements that you can have as a professional competitive tennis player. Winning a Grand Slam and being number one of the world in the end of the season. At this stage of my career, obviously, that's in terms of goals and achievements. Obviously, that's right at the top. But in order for me to be in the position to battle for that year-end number one, and I understand that I have to be healthy and schedule well. And Roger was talking about the family. I don't know how he does it with 4 children. I mean, I struggle with 2, and it's a hell of an effort. But we all love tennis, and we dedicate ourselves, our lives, and of course to this sport. But at the same time, it has to be balanced with off-court stuff and children and family, and we have to have the support of the close ones in order to actually have a chance and have a go for a year number one. So I'm really pleased to be in the position, but at the same time, I'm trying to understand that the longevity as well is something I'm probably valuing even more.
Roger and Novak, both of you really. There's 3 debutants this year, and also Alex is still very young, even though he's a defending champion. How excited are you that there's new faces coming through and sort of proving themselves at the top level, and eventually when you guys sort of hang up your rackets, are you looking forward to watching those guys have rivalries?
Yeah, absolutely. What I like about the young guys like Matteo here, qualifying for the first time, it goes away from just saying like, oh, we have some talented players on the tour. There's a difference between that and actually being somewhat of a national hero in your country already, and being top 10 player in the world in tennis, which is not easy to achieve. So I think that's great that they're part of the World Tour Finals. It's going to give them great experience as well, moving forward to then achieve great things at slam level, Masters 1000s, being surrounded with the 8, having the pressure to play against fellow top 10 players from the get-go here. It's something that will only help your career, and Sasha's win last year was definitely also a bit of a catalyst, I think, for the rest of the group that qualified this year.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think it's a great, as Roger was saying, great message for the sport. I mean, it was inevitable. It was going to happen that we're going to have a really successful next generation coming in. I think Roger, Rafa, and I are still glad that we're kind of in the mix. How long that's going to go for, of course, it's not going to go forever. So I think sport is in good hands. These guys are great guys off the court. They understand and respect the sport, and they show good things, good values. So of course we're going to enjoy cheering them up and cheering them on after we're done with our careers.
Matteo, the other players around your age kind of broke through.
You're not going to be playing competitively anywhere next year before the Australian Open. Do you think that will affect your chances in Melbourne?
Hope not. But I think with age and experience, I can be confident about what I do in training. I'll travel to Melbourne early to make sure I give myself the best chance to get ready. I don't know what to tell you. I believe I can be ready. I don't think I need a ton of matches always, especially not on the hard courts, but maybe I'm a bit more dependent on the draw early on at the Australian Open. But key is health, and if I'm healthy, I know that stuff can be achieved. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
Dominic, you have the same.
Was an epic final at Wimbledon, and you possess an amazing record. Do you think that will give you the upper hand when facing Novak in the tournament?
Why should it give me the upper hand? I didn't hear the middle.
Sorry, your indoor record is phenomenal.
Indoor record.
I hope so.
Then he's been playing okay indoors too. So it's not like his record is not existent, you know, or it's like so much worse than mine. I don't even know if it's worse than mine, or mine is better. But no, I think I'm honest. I'm very excited to be playing against Novak again here. I'm happy to be in his group, and Wimbledon was epic. It's not going to be that epic here, you know, because it's best of 3 and all that stuff. But that was a special match for both of us. Maybe a bit more for him than for me, but that's okay. I moved on a long time ago, and you know, when we match up, I think our games really match up nicely. It's good, great for the crowd, super athletic. We have different playing styles, and I mean, it's pretty quick here. I feel the courts, so it'll be interesting. You know, indoors is you focus more maybe on your serve and all that stuff rather than what your opponent does. But no, it should be exciting. You know, I'm excited to play against Novak again.
The last couple of questions. Right. On there, last question.
Roger, last time you played Novak, over 80% of the fans in the stadium support you. How good is it to feel to play with the fans support you, and are you expecting the same level of the support in this time?
Not really. Look, I appreciate support wherever I go. I don't ask for their support. You know, if it happens, it's great, and if it doesn't, I understand. You know, what I like about tennis fans, you know, for the most part, is that they're very, very polite, very supportive. I guess they also feel lucky to be at the stadium, that they do get a chance, you know, to see professional tennis. O2 here, we can't complain. That'd be wonderful, and I hope it's also going to be the case again this year, and hopefully also for the last year, then again next year.